On October 15th, I was at the airport ready to board, and strangely enough, the flight number was also 115. Even stranger, the original departure time of 9,030 was delayed to 115 due to weather. When I sat down in my seat, I found an MP3 player. The headphones played a story about Flight 115, and everything described was happening right in front of me. It also predicted that within the next hour, Flight 115 would permanently disappear from the radar. I didn't think much of it, but the MP3 accurately named the captain. Then the MP3 predicted a bird would strike the engine, and at that exact time, a bird really did collide with our plane. At that moment, a man named George came up behind me, saying he had also seen the bird and telling me he was a pilot who had worked with Captain Donald. I opened the MP3 again and heard an even more terrifying prediction.
We also know that it disappeared at 11:15 p.m.
And the captain's last words would be,
"Good night, New York."
The MP3 also mentioned that some devices might have interfered with the flight communication. I noticed two men watching a live stream. This led to an argument, and the flight attendants asked me to return to my seat. What was even more shocking was that the MP3 mentioned there were criminals on the plane, and I suspected that the criminals were trying to sabotage the flight. I told George about my discovery, and he suggested I check the suspicious passenger's luggage. I secretly checked the other passengers' luggage compartments, but accidentally caused a commotion. The captain was alerted and warned me not to threaten the passenger's safety. Passengers began recording me on their phones, and I could only silently return to my seat. When I turned on the MP3 again, it actually said that I was the key person behind the plane's disaster. I nearly broke down, ran to the cockpit to warn the captain not to say, "Good night, New York." At that moment, a sky marshal appeared and arrested me on the grounds of threatening the flight, saying that once we landed, I would be taken to see a psychologist. I told her everything I knew, but it wasn't enough to convince her. Then George, seizing the opportunity while the sky marshal was away, came over and said he believed my judgment. As a pilot, he could control the plane and land it in a safe place before it disappeared, but he needed the cockpit password. Suddenly, I realized that the password might be 115. He rushed in, controlled the captain, and forcibly took over the plane. Then he reduced the cabin pressure, causing all the passengers to lose consciousness.
Good night, New York.
Oh shit, he's the pilot.